Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, outsiders of all ages, the Longhorns are done for 2024. It, of course, officially happens in 2025, but the 2024 season officially over with the loss to Ohio State. We'll take last rites. We'll go over the autopsy tonight. There have already been roster moves. The portal opens for 5 days if somebody wants to head out. So we'll get into all that. It is the outsiders. And once again, we have an outsider in the great state of Hawaii. There he is in the lower right. That's right. Jason Dick's in Hawaii. We'll find out which island coming up. But right now, let me remind you that it is the outsiders brought to you by Poncho. And since the Longhorns are done with football, but never done with all sports, there's all kinds of sports going on. And if you are a Longhorn fan, they've got a lot of ways for you to celebrate. The Earl is something I saw at the watch party at TC8 Social Austin. Shout out to a great watch party. Met one of our fans, a big fan of Orange Bloods, fan of the shows, and he was rocking that Earl. There's the Earl with Colt, of course, as your model. You got the Smoky as well. They've got the 40 Acres. They've got the San Jacinto. They've got shirts for the kids in burnt orange. So check them out. PonchoOutdoors.com. Make sure you mention Orange Bloods Live or the Outsiders when you make your order. All right, the Outsiders are here. Our upper left is always the quarterback. It's Mach 5. He's ready to roll. It's Chance Mach. Your lower right is Jason Dick. Once again in Hawaii. The shirt is Hawaiian. Let's hope it stays on. Jason, which island tonight, sir?
We are on a different island. I'm coming to you with shaky Wi-Fi, I would imagine, from Kauai, the island of Kauai in Hawaii, because as irresponsible as it is for an unemployed man with no money to travel to Hawaii, going to only one island would be weak. Okay, so we left the big island and now are in Kauai because I was advised the best golf is here, and played Poipu Bay today. Poipu Bay. I'm not so great with all the names. Carded a 97. I missed my putter.
Hey.
And by that, I mean my friend Steven, who's usually my scramble teammate, who's good at putting. All right. I'm racking up the 3 and sometimes 4 putts out here.
Nice. Busted. Hey, you know, the kind of golfer I am, you just told me you broke 100 in Hawaii. That's very good. That's well done. I'm going to give you a golf clap for that one. Very nice. So Jason's ready to roll. Your lower left, as always, is the country gorilla. It's Bo Edge. Bo, how are you, sir?
Well, I've had better days, but, you know, we're onward and upward, right?
Yeah, there you go. And again, shout out to Poncho. Bo's rocking the Poncho hat. He's got one of the hoodies on. I got one of the T-shirts on. And we do love ourselves some Poncho. We also love ourselves some you. If you want to throw yourself into the chat like Hookem did with aloha and apparently an emoji that Hookem wanted to throw in. All right, there you go. And wait a minute. Hold on. For some reason, Jason dropped out. Let's bring him back in. You okay there?
Yeah, again, if you knew what sort of, I have MacGyvered a Wi-Fi signal together here to try and do this. So hopefully it's this is the best we can do.
Does it involve a guava or a pineapple?
No, maybe that's what I need. Maybe that's the missing part of the contraption that will keep.
Or do you have like an aux cable stuck in one of those famous snow cones? Last time I was on Kauai, we had snow cones a lot with my daughter.
Yeah. Shaved ice. That's what they call it.
I like the way Chad said last time I was in Hawaii. I'm trying to get there for the first time, and he's like, oh, the last time I was in Hawaii.
Yeah, trust me, the way things are going, it's going to be the last time I'm ever going to be in Hawaii if things keep rolling the way they are. All right, we hope you can jump on in. Speaking of things out west, our man Chris Bennett is in Washington State, licking the wounds as a Longhorn fan from Ohio State winning 28-14. We'll break it down tonight, talk about what the heck happened in this game. So, Bo Edge, why don't you get us started with reaction to this game? Like you said, it's onward and upward. But before we do it, let's take a look at kind of the end. It was a pretty wild game. Honestly, kind of the game I thought we'd see. Close, hard fought. You know, it wasn't going to be a blowout either way. Texas obviously put up a hell of a fight, but just didn't have enough, key fight in the right areas. What'd you see?
It was a battle of the two best teams in the country. And at the most critical moment, they made a play when we didn't. I mean, the score paints a different picture than what the game actually was. There were some ebbs, there were some flows. They got off to the hot start. It was like a Rocky fight. They came out swinging. We took their best punch. We got right back into it. We gave up a stupid play at the end of the half. We got back into it again. And then we had our chance. And we missed. Jack Sawyer made the play. Congratulations to him. And as Quinn told him walking off the field, screw you. That's all he got.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, in the most loving way possible. He didn't cheat. He just whooped Cam's butt. He took the ball and ran 80-plus yards. Screw you, Jack Sawyer. Screw you.
There you go.
Bo, that play should have never happened because we should have scored from the 1-yard line. All right? I saw the boss man, Ketchum, said on Twitter that the defensive call at the end of the first half where they give up the 75-yard touchdown was the worst play call he's seen covering Longhorn sports, which I think he's been doing at least a couple months. And it's as if Sark was like, hold my beer or hold my sparkling water because I'm going to have 2nd and goal from the 1, and I'm going to back my quarterback up into shotgun. Then I'm going to pitch it back to the 9-yard line so that I can get this 1 yard. I'm not, I've been a fan of Arch Manning, and Arch Madness is the package that I call it. Put somebody in there and quarterback sneak it. Don't make your guy go 9 yards to get 1 yard. You should be able to score from the 1.
Well, here
to that point, were you surprised that Arch didn't make an appearance there in that sequence?
No, because I think Arch had a concussion. I don't think Arch was coming back in the ball game. I can tell you right now, Arch went into concussion protocol. I can tell you that. Not telling you how.
I hadn't heard that until today, Chance, that might be a possibility. That does change the way I think about it. I'm not sure if I'd run what they ran.
Go back and watch.
Change it.
Go back and watch when Arch comes out the field because he on the 4th and whatever, that 4th and 2 that he got 7 yards.
Okay.
The last shot was straight in the back of his helmet.
Okay.
Sark was actually trying, it's kind of ironic given what happened in the other game that got us to it, but Sark was lobbying for targeting on the sideline because he, by the definition of the rule, and I'm not complaining, it just is the way it went down, he used the crown of his helmet and launched into the back. Now, Arch changed, and that's what made it hit the back of the head. He was going, it wasn't, but bottom line is, I think Chance is probably more spot on than people realize.
So here's what I would have done. And this is, my thing is this. It was a heavyweight fight. To me, it was the 2 best teams in the country fighting it out. And it was the worst defensive call in the world because we lost that game, to me, on that play. We had swung momentum our way. We had taken their punch. We had tied it up going into halftime. Things were good. The momentum was there. Big Mo was on our side, and it just drained. It's not just the 7 points. It sucked the energy out of it. And really and truly, you take the strip sack and you take that big play away, and it's a 14-14 ball game. But beyond that, my thing is this. When it's a heavyweight fight, that's not a get cute. I was talking to Corey Redding Saturday afternoon, and I told him, I said, what they did on that first 4th down with the gunner helm and the ball snapped through his legs and the first down, I thought it was brilliant. But what I would have done there is take that same look, but take Gunnar Helm's big ass and let him sneak it. Take my big boys, y'all's big boys. We got 3 shots from 1 yard. I'm going to put Alfred Collins behind Gunnar Helm, and Gunnar Helm's going to get the ball, and Alfred Collins is going to push his ass, and we're going to go 3 times to see if we can score. And if we can't score, and this was Corey Redding's exact words, if we can't get in from 1 yard out on 3 attempts, we didn't deserve to win anyway, and I can live with that. They were the better team. What I can't live with is tossing the ball back to the 9-yard line to try to make up those 8 yards that we had to get in the first place just to get back to where we started. And that's where I think we outthought ourselves too much. Like at some point, it just becomes, if you want to be that team, you have to insert your will on them. You have to go show that dominance. And that was what was disappointment. Like, why be cute? Why be cute in that situation? Like, worst case scenario, if we don't get it, And Sark said it right. And I knew what he was thinking. Like, we've got 4 downs. If we don't score, this is not do or die. The way their defense was playing, if they get the ball at the 1 yard line and got to go 99 yards, the chance of a punt and us getting the ball back is great. What you can't do is pitch the ball back and lose yardage, put yourself in a situation where now you got to throw, and then chaos ensues.
Well, and Chance, the worst part about the toss play to me is the personnel package with it. Like, if you're going to try something to deviate and go it, why are you not tossing it to Jaden Blue, who's infinitely faster than Wisner, trying to get to that corner? Now, it was a hell of a play by Caleb Downs to blow it up.
Why are we tossing it?
But
yeah. I mean, look, it could be Derrick Henry with Tyreek Hill speed. He had to beat 4 guys to get back to the line of scrimmage. Okay, he had to beat 4 guys to make it past there, to get to the 5. Like, I don't get it.
Sark, Jason, to that point, Sark talked about, you know, if they just didn't block the play well, and I thought, man, there were like 5 guys on him. Are you really going to tell me that was the issue? It's like, boy, we just needed to block better. Okay, but Caleb Downs had that thing figured out. Caleb Downs reminded me on that play of Ethan Burke in College Station. And just like Ethan Burke, he had a committee behind him. I mean, there were 4 other guys waiting to make the play if he didn't. And, I mean, Bo, honestly, Gibson might have made more sense to me there. We've seen them run like stretch plays to try to have Gibson put his foot in the ground and get physical on the outside. That might have made more sense to me than the way that as that play begins. I'm just like, oh my God. It's the one thing that I've talked about offensively for whatever it was for those 10 days. Don't run long developing stretch run plays against that defense.
Well,
and they do it in the biggest moment.
For a guy that prides himself on eye candy and motion and things that deviate eye lines, why the hell don't you have somebody, if you're going to run that play in all your creativeness, why don't you have some receiver going in motion to at least get the guys looking different directions? Like, that was, I don't want to say too easy, and it was a great play by Caleb Downs, but if they'd watched tape on those, they knew that was something that could happen there, and they shot the gap, and they won. They gambled, and they won.
Yeah, no doubt. If you want to throw a chat at us, obviously a super chat would go right to the top of the list. Big Cheddar wanted to talk about another big play in the game. Here's a question. On Ohio State's 4th down play, before they went up 21-14, why didn't we have at least 1, maybe 2 guys spying on Will Howard? That play was going to be QB run the whole way. It certainly did open up pretty well. Big Cheddar. Good question.
I think the reason on that particular play was because Judkins had been running it down our damn throat on those plays, and it would make perfect sense that they were going to give the ball to Judkins in that scenario. Then it's easy to say after the fact, why were you cute on the quarterback? Well, if they had a quick pitch to Judkins and he goes 30 yards, you're like, how do you not cue on Judkins? He was running over you. Yeah,
boy, Judkins had such a game too. If there was anybody who was ready to play that game, it was Quinshon Judkins. There's no doubt about that. If you want to throw us a chat, we will get to it. Also, we will thank a lot of our great partners tonight as we get into the off season for football and head off into 2025 and start talking about next season. One of those great partners is Covert Ford. If you haven't seen the Sergio spot, here it comes.
Hi, I'm Sergio Garcia, professional golfer.
And I'm Angela Garcia, a 7th-generation Texan. And as a child, I grew up on a ranch in the Hill Country, and we had countless Covert Ford vehicles on that ranch. I saw firsthand just how reliable Covert is and how their customer service cannot be beat.
And just like in golf, being reliable, on point, and consistent is the most important thing. So if you want the best of the best, visit our friends at Covert.
All right, fellas, as things move forward, one of the big news stories of the day today in the NFL was about Mike McCarthy no longer being with the Cowboys. There are now, was it 5 teams? I think I've got that right. About 5, maybe it's 6 now, that need a new head coach in the NFL. Let's talk Sark and just a couple quick points. Show of hands, anybody concerned about Sark going to the NFL? Yeah, Chance, a little bit. No for the other 2 guys? Okay.
Why would he go now? I mean, he turned down Alabama, right? Like Alabama is kind of the NFL. Had he already accomplished everything he wanted to accomplish at Texas, I could see maybe, but why would you leave this job for the NFL right now?
I don't think you will. I mean, but if the question is, are you concerned? I would say, I mean, there is a thought in the back of my mind. The NFL it's a whole different monster. And, you know, I was fortunate this weekend to spend some time with Mac, and Mac made a great point. He said, you know, we're sitting here with a group of guys, a group of brothers that 25 years later, we still hang out. Our kids are friends, and we're all still friends. And, you know, we're back here having lunch together, sitting and talking about those memories. He goes, those days are gone. Now it's a transactional world. It's a world of agents. It's a world of dollars. It's a world of renting a guy for a year to come play a game, and he's gone. He said that's the thing that scares them the most, is that these players 20 years from now won't get to enjoy what we were sitting there doing. And I think that's true. And I think there's a part of it that, I mean, that's the thing, is that the line between college and the NFL is getting so blurred that, you know, if the right opportunity presents itself, why wouldn't you? You're no longer building programs as much as you're managing an NFL squad, basically, is what you're doing in college.
And Chance, that's why, depending on the landscape, he might actually consider it. But if you look at the teams that are out there right now, none of them offer a better position than he has coming back with the roster he's built here, making $10 million plus a year, and to have Arch Manning as his quarterback, who, oh, by the by, may be better than the starting quarterback for most of the teams looking at him to go coach.
Yeah, I think you know, we have multiple people just chatted it this in, and I think, I mean, come on, I even if you've got the dream, even if you've got the idea that one day you'd love to be the head coach of one of those 32 teams, that's cool. But come on, you gotta see this Arch Manning thing to the end.
You think so, but
You
I
do.
mean,
You
would. Again, I'm not saying it's going to happen, and I'm not saying that it's more than a 10% chance. I'm saying, you ask the question, I say, in today's world, I think that line is a lot more blurred than it used to be.
Okay, so let me ask this one on Sark, maybe kind of on the negative side of it, for the three of you, and maybe everybody in the chat if you want to jump in. Did you see anything that – now, let me state the good first. Back-to-back semifinals, they're the only team in the country that can say that, and he did that in years 3 and 4. But are you to a point with the red zone stuff that you want somebody else to call plays? Show of hands?
No,
No. Okay.
I would like – my hope is that Sark is a pretty introspective guy, and each year you see him make changes in his analyst staff. You see him make changes in his philosophy on certain things. I hope he brings in – he doesn't have to be a specific red zone guru, but someone on the offensive side of the ball with a different lens to look at how to handle inside the 20, how to handle inside the 5. Because Sark, and maybe this is a Quinn thing, this may change dramatically with Arch as the quarterback. He refuses to put in plays that give the quarterback the option of even running. Like, half of Notre Dame's play set is designed to make Riley Leonard have holes to run through. Same with, Ohio State was doing it with Will Howard, not often, but you want your quarterback to be able to move. And Quinn showed that at moments he could be the guy. When he ran for 10 yards to get a first down, you know, he ran for a touchdown in the game prior. You gotta, it's the damn semifinals. Run the quarterback.
Yeah. So the way I look at it is this, and all I can look at it through is through the lens of my small Pop Warner coaching experience. And I've got 6 years coaching Pop Warner, and by God, my offenses are pretty damn good. I've had four of the 6 years, my offenses have averaged more than 50 points a game, just so you know.
Well,
are you throwing your name in the ring, Chance? Are you throwing your name in to be the play caller versus Sark? Is that what you're saying?
But that being said, and this is why I think it's relevant, is I would like to see Sark bring in somebody, not necessarily a red zone specialist, but just another offensive mind just to be up in the booth. Because for me, the best thing that I had is Vincent Sinisi. You know, he coaches with me, and I always have an offensive assistant that stands with me that I trust. And that way, like, I'm calling the plays, But every once in a while, it's nice to have somebody go, hey, what do you think about this? Not telling you what to call, just to put a different lens on it, things that you might miss in the heat of the moment. And it made me a significant better play caller. And especially when you're on the field, like there's benefits to being up in the booth and there's benefits to being on the field. When you're up in the booth, you can't feel the momentum of the game. You can't feel what your players are feeling as well. But when you're on the field, you can't see things as well as you can up in the booth. So there's pluses and minuses. I think it would be really, really nice to have somebody else, just somebody that Sark trusts, just an ear that can bounce things off of him.
Well, I know less about this than any of you guys, but I did take Idaho to 3 national championships on NCAA 2007. So
The Vandals.
I think Sark is the best game planner and play designer in the game. And they even referenced it on the broadcast, like that script, the first 15 is sort of the thing, a thing of lore now from Sark. But it might be one of those situations where like his greatest gift is also his greatest detriment, in that that's how you wind up calling this weird play on 2nd and goal from the 1 yard line. Like sometimes it's just easy, man. Put a big ass dude in there and ask him to go forward 1 yard. Like you don't have to always be outsmarting everybody. And I think that's sort of the problem once you get into the second half and it's adjustments and stuff like that, that he's like, I schemed this up on Tuesday. I know what we're going to do here. And I think
Jason, to that point, and I think you're exactly right. To that point, how beneficial would it have been when Sark was going to call shotgun sweep to the left when we're outnumbered 4 blockers to 5 defenders, to have a guy up in the booth going, Sark, let's make them stop us. Go right at them.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anybody on that staff who could do that, but that's certainly something that would be good. Somebody to say, hey, no, don't do that, man.
It's perplexing to me how you have an All-American candidate tight end in Gunnar Helm, another tight end who's shown in the back end of the season in Juan Davis that he is mobile and agile, and you're running 2 tight sets at various points. Why not at the goal line have a 2 tight set and play action the dive to Gibson just to see what happens? Because that's a play where if it's not there right away, if the first read isn't there, either Quinn could maybe attempt to use his legs to roll out further or just throw it out of the back of the end zone.
Yeah, we're still overthinking. Just go right at him.
Well, no, I 100%. I don't understand why you didn't just run it up the damn middle 4 times.
Yeah, the other thing, Bo, now that I'm thinking of this, if you're thinking about the full scope of it, if it is indeed true that Arch did get dinged up a little bit, that he was maybe in concussion protocol, you could probably understand why you wouldn't run quarterback run with Quinn, because in the back of your mind, if you're Sark, you realize, okay, he's 1 play away. You're 1 play away from having to put Owens in the game at that point, right?
You at least attempt wildcat to Gibson or any number of, whatever.
Right. No, I get you there.
I'm not trying to be the offensive coordinator, but you should have ran 4 times in a row. And if you were going to throw it, it needed to be play action with a boot to where the quarterback is in space to where he has a run pass option, not a zone read with Quinn, but a run pass option. And for the last damn time, not to the weak side of the field, not to the boundary. Run it to the play side to where you have more room. If you're going to run a sweep, give the running back time to extend out.
Now, to be fair, we got into the postgame show and somebody was talking about that play was not run to the short side. They were almost to the right hash and they ran left. I mean, that was not the short side of the field.
I realize on the play that we're talking about, but Sark has done that before.
Yes, he has.
In goal line situations where he's on the far left hash and he tries to run some goofy gimmick to the short boundary side. The play to Wisner was not boundary side. It was more play side than it was. The ball was centered at the beginning of the snap. What I'm saying is the overall red zone scheme of Sark is always trying to trick somebody and if they're going to load this side, we're going to run to the boundary. No, line up and just run it down their damn throat.
Yeah, and that's something that throughout, through this portal period, through obviously the spring portal, developing your younger guys, offensive line and running backs, it's got to get better in the best games. Because, fellas, for 4 key games, 1.1 against Georgia, 1.1 against Georgia, 1.8 against Arizona State, a game they nearly lost, and now 2.0 against Ohio State. It's not good enough. They didn't run the ball well enough. period. And he prides himself on not just having a 1,000-yard back, but we've watched him when he's at his best. He will choke you out with a run game. And he hadn't been able to do it in the biggest games this year.
So the question becomes, and I think there's a little bit of truth in this, all season long, Blue did well, and, we have to give credit where Wisner, the things that he did. I think we also have to look at what you just said in the biggest games, and I think we have to have a real realization that the C.J. Baxter injury hurt more than we thought it did. I think that was more impactful than we probably gave it credit for. I think we look at it and go, hey, we got a big offensive line. We've got this stable of running backs. And I think I think that I'm not saying that would have solved all the world's problems.
Yeah. I was going to say, to be fair, Chance, do you know C.J. Baxter would have been a badass?
I don't, but I'm saying if that's Sark, so you got to trust the guy that's making the decisions. And if that's Sark's day one starter last year and this year, you have to think there's something he's shown him that's special that could be different. But at the end of the day, if we're going to get over the hump and be a national championship team, you have to line up from the one and not have to trick people in the red zone, but run right at them and win. Like, that's what it is. And I could sit here today and I could live. If we lost that game 21-14 and it came with 4 straight stuffs on the goal line, Ohio State was the better team. They beat us. We gave it their best shot. They gave us their best. They were better. Congratulations. Good luck against Notre Dame. Like, that's the way I would have felt fine about it.
Yeah, because then you wouldn't have had to have something. I mean, it would have sucked, obviously, but you wouldn't have had something like that second down play to go along with the play at the end of the first half.
This is the scar tissue from OU game 2 years ago. Same scenario.
Yeah.
Only difference is he tried the goofy ass jet sweep to Worthy that didn't get in. I mean, but that was not as backwards as the other sweep, but it's the same concept. Somebody's going to have to.
Yeah. Sorry, Bo.
Maybe these life lessons of not succeeding in that exact scenario will allow him to say, I need help. Like, as creative as he can be in the overall scheme. And I mean, he does things that there's a reason coaches in the NFL are copying some of his plays, because he does things that are unique and he comes up with concepts and he floods zones in ways that people hadn't thought. He attacks blitzes, but there's a lot of good to what Sark does. And I think even better than what he does on offense, his ability to build a program the way he has shown he's done it, not just at Washington, but also here, proves he can do it time and time again as far as building a unified team and an organizational structure to recruit and do everything. If he can find it within his heart to say, I don't see it right when I don't have the whole field to work with. My brain doesn't get creative when I only have this limited patch of grass in order to run my plays. Somebody please help me. Somebody get the meathead that, Gronk's brother that just wants to run over him. Give me ball, run hard. Find that guy.
Hey, one more thing. One more thing while we're banging on the play calling, and I don't know, maybe it's a issue of you have to take what they're giving you, but does Sark have an alarm set for late in the fourth quarter that says, oh yeah, Gunnar Helm is my tight end? Because he should set it for the first quarter. That's 2 games in a row where it was deep into the game before Gunnar Helm touched the ball. I think it was in overtime versus Arizona State, right?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on the first 3
I don't know. First play of the game to Juan Davis. Like, he knows the tight end position exists.
Yeah, that was, you're right. That is a weird, because I'm with you, Jason. I've been, I always love when they're using Helm. I think it makes them a lot better to see that play to Davis on the very first play. Interesting. He takes the shot. Was it in the first half? The one that where he sends Gunnar up the ladder and Gunnar took that tough hit. I think that was first half. But yeah, in terms of
it was first half. That was one of Quinn had a couple missed throws, and that was one that he would definitely like to have back.
We got a super chat from our guy Oscar here, $4.99. In my opinion, our O-line was a bit overrated this year. They did not physically dominate better teams. In fact, they got dominated against those better teams. Is that a fair word, guys? Overrated in the biggest games? A little bit?
I think as a unit, I would agree with that assessment. If you go back and watch the game, Kelvin Banks is not overrated. Kelvin Banks was doing his thing. For, like you can look at and Chance knows this and can tell me when I'm stupid about this part, but you can't look at individual lineman grades without understanding what all the linemen were supposed to do on particular plays. So there are plays where Banks doesn't even look dominant, but he was doing exactly what he was supposed to do in the spot he was supposed to be in. Banks had a hell of a game.
Yeah. By the way, for those of you that may have missed it, guys that have declared for the NFL include Kelvin Banks. Jason, I am sorry to report, Jadon Blue will not be wearing burnt orange anymore. He's headed to the pros.
So excited for my guy. All right.
Matthew Golden today also made that official that he is heading to the pros. You would imagine Isaiah Bond, but that's not done officially. You would imagine Cam Williams, but that I don't think is officially done yet. So kind of waiting on some of that. But those have gone down in the last couple of days.
I liked how the senior offensive lineman in unison with Kelvin Banks in the most chuckly way that you could find on Twitter. We're all declaring themselves for the NFL draft too. Jake Majors, Hayden Connor.
Yeah.
I love the Hayden Connors respect my decision.
Yeah.
Respect my decision.
You didn't mention Quinn Ewers there, Chad.
That's right. And obviously waiting on, Quinn Ewers. That would be the biggest name that folks are waiting on to maybe head to the pros.
No, I mean, I think the article that came out the day of the game where he basically, with the recorded audio of him saying, I'm going to the NFL. I don't think that's changing.
I wouldn't think so either. ATX Bates jumped in with $9.99. Damn it, guys. I'm trying to move on. I don't need to relive the pain. When is the 05 season TCH rewatch party spring schedule coming out? Time to wallow in the glory years via gummies. ATX Bates has really gotten into those Rogue Shop gummies, and he takes too much. Kids, don't do that. When they tell you to take a fourth, take a fourth. ATX Bates took the whole thing and then watched Everything Everywhere All at Once and freaked himself out. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Hey, you keep doing you, ATX Bates. If that's what makes you happy, be happy.
Man, he was happy that time, but not happy about the result of the game, obviously. He's trying to figure it out, trying to process what's going on. So we'll keep an eye on all that. We're sitting here on a Monday night. Texas players would have until Wednesday night, I believe, to jump in the portal if they wanted to. Nobody really big and impactful into the portal that we've seen so far. So we wouldn't expect that. But with Jadon Blue headed to the pros, that's where the running back room to me, guys, is really – that's a blinking light right now. Got to find something badass in that room. And maybe it's in the – I guess it's in the portal. Or is it – I mean – Baxter coming back, I guess, right? Baxter going to try to come back from that injury, but
those first-year backs after ACL surgery are they're not guaranteed.
Yeah, they got to go portal, right?
You would think.
I mean, I'm assuming that's what that's got to be.
Now, let me be the other side of that. Unless there's something in the portal worth getting, you shouldn't be going portal fishing.
I don't think they fish. I think they know who they want and they go after them, and they're either going to get that guy or they're not.
I'm just saying I don't think there's that many fish in that pool
that are in there right now.
But look at
wait for that spring window right around.
I guess what I'm saying is it's the two Ohio State guys. They're going to the draft. Love from Notre Dame.
They're going to leave Ohio State to come to Texas. Why would you leave Ohio State to come to Texas?
That's my point, though. So if the people, they would already be after him, I think they don't have the options that everybody goes on Orange Buds and be like, just go to the portal and get it back. It's not like Walmart where there's a basket of stuff to get. Like there's not a plethora of great running backs. Just, hey, look at me, guys. Like that's not how it works.
I mean, I think it's an issue. I think it's a big issue.
I think the positions that they want to go find somebody in the portal, and running back would be one of them, it doesn't exist. So they're not going to go take a guy from Sam Houston State just because he's available. Or I'm just sorry, Sam, I wasn't trying to throw shade your way. But Wisner could come back, Baxter from injury, Christian Clark from injury. And oh, by the by, they have a couple other guys that were highly recruited guys less than 2 years ago that are on the roster.
Yeah. Also, since we talked about portal, there was a portal visitor in for the weekend, an O lineman, believe it or not something Texas has done a whole lot of in the portal, but USC O lineman Emmanuel Pregnon came in for a visit over the weekend. So maybe something to keep an eye on as Texas will try to revamp that offensive line because they're losing 4 starters, right?
Well,
Assuming Williams goes.
Yeah.
Right?
assuming Williams goes, they're losing 4 starters because
That'd be
I think
4.
it's readily apparent Campbell's coming back because you don't leave to be undrafted. I mean, Major's gone, Connor gone, Banks gone.
Yeah.
Assuming Cam Williams is gone. So your line next year, you're going to have Connor Robertson. Most likely it's the center. He was the backup, and he's been cross-training with Jake Majors. You're going to have Gooseby at one of the 2 tackle spots.
Mm-hmm.
And most likely, unless they find somebody in the portal, the 5-star that they were dying to get last year from California, Brandon Baker.
That's true.
At some point, he's got to evolve and get in the mix.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
I mean, if Baker is as good as advertised, Baker and Gooseby is not the worst bookends you could have with DJ Campbell, an established guard. You see what Connor Robertson is. So, in theory, if that's right, you need 1 or 2 guys in the portal. But honestly, if there was great ones still out there, they would have already jumped on them. Like most of the portal shopping has been done. The only thing left is for other teams to try to pick off the guys from Texas and Penn State, and then Notre Dame and Ohio State that want to leave after they're done playing.
Yeah,
I think you may see.
I would look to that small spring portal window that Sark probably has his eyes on a couple of guys. He's going to do his evaluations, and if there's moves he believes need to be made, that's when you'll see it.
Yeah.
I don't disagree. I think Texas fans should expect multiple guys off the roster right now, though, to enter the portal before Wednesday's done. I think there will be guys on this roster that hung around trying to ride the wave into a trophy that will now – they've had their meeting with Sark and coaches over the last couple of days, and they know where their place is or isn't in the next couple of years, and they'll be looking to get out. And he'd already said he was leaving after the season was over, but like one of the chatters said Justice Finkley signed with Kansas this afternoon.
Yep.
That'd be good for him. That's a good spot.
Yeah, congrats to Justice on that. So, guys, in terms of obviously, we mentioned the 5-day window. So it's Wednesday, Texas and Penn State would have that same 5-day window, losing the semifinals, and then obviously Notre Dame and Ohio State, to Bo's point, will have those 5 days right after. Would you guys, if you are Greg Sankey, would you consider changing the SEC rule for the spring window where you can't go school to school? You like that idea for the SEC, or would you like to see a change?
What, within the conference?
Yeah, because it's only in that one window where I couldn't go portal from Georgia to Texas, but I can do it in the fall portal and I could do it in the extra portal like we're in right now. Like right now, somebody could go Georgia to Texas, but they can't in May. That's confusing to me.
I don't understand it.
I'm sure there's a rationale. I don't understand it. Like if you're going to allow free movement of players, allow free movement of players at all times. But I mean, to me, that's not a deal breaker. Like,
right. I mean, I've been trying to weigh it out in my head. Like 2 of the stars that moved last year. Well, heck, maybe you put 3 of them in. But like, a Walter Nolan ends up in conference because he transferred during that time, or not during that time. Evan Stewart ends up going out of conference. And then obviously an Isaiah Bond ends up in conference because he was on the special window after Saban. So I'm just wondering, if I'm Sankey, I'm sitting there watching football play out. Do I really care? I mean, do I really care if a guy says, look, man, I want a portal away from T-Town? Okay, where do you want to go? If I'm Greg Sankey, I'm thinking, dude, you're talented. If you want to keep playing in my conference, keep playing in my conference. But
well, he's probably just acting on behalf of the coaches who forever didn't. If you were leaving the program, it's like, okay, fine. Even if I wasn't going to use you, I don't want you to come back to haunt me. So get your ass out to California.
Right, here's the list of schools you can't go to.
Right. So yeah, it's probably, I would imagine that Greg Sankey is just acting on their behalf, which is once again unfair to the players if we're going to say, hey, you're allowed, to pursue greener pastures. Let them transfer in the conference, no matter when.
I think Texas is in a position that I do like. And Bo, you talk. I don't spend time on message boards. I couldn't even tell you how to get on one. But people need to be careful with this. We just go to the portal, because Texas has a really good chemistry in their locker room right now. It's not just about the guys that you're bringing in. It's how they mix in that locker room. And they've got something really, really good going. They've got guys that have bought into what Sark's selling and what that coaching staff is selling. And the one thing you don't want to do is introduce a cancer into that locker room. So you got to be careful of who you're bringing in. It's not just, hey, we're going to go, like Bo said, Walmart shopping and bring in a guy, because what are you willing to risk when right now you've developed a culture, you developed a locker room that's got a great attitude, and that's got guys that are competing, that like each other, that like playing next to each other. Just you got to be real careful with that.
I just think the fan base as a whole gets confused sometimes, because you're in conversation like, yeah, we'll just go to the portal and get that position. We'll go to the portal and get that. It's not the liquor store. You can't just put in an order on specs.com and get 2 bottles of Crown and a bottle of Tito's. No, like, we need an offensive lineman. We need a defensive tackle. We could need a new running back, any number of things. But unless there's actually one that's better than what we have, and we have one of the most stacked rosters in college football, the portal isn't always going to be our answer.
Yeah. If I can't ask for a better chance than that. If you do need new bottles of stuff from Specs.
No matter what you're needing, Specs same-day delivery can save the day with our Specs app or online shopping. From world-class wines to hard-to-find spirits and craft beers, to gourmet foods, delicious snacks, and spectacular sweets.
That's why they call him Bo Edge, radio sales god. Well done, Bo. Well done. Speaking of such things, Chance Mock, we showed him Specs, we showed him a rabbit. Let's show him a little bit of Arch Public. The Arch era of a different kind is going to start very, very soon, but a different Arch era has been going on. Tell them about Arch Public.
Well, 2025 is the year of Arch when it comes to Texas football, and for you, it might be the year of Arch Public, and that's something that I would highly suggest you talk to the guys. Arch Public, what they do is they take and they put the power of computers in your hands and help you with your portfolio. You control everything. You control the money. It's in your account. All they do is they're providing the software that lets the computers and the algorithms work in your favor and shift the odds in your favor. They've done wonders for me. It's been phenomenal. I think I finished on the year since May. I finished up a little over 40% on my money. Pretty good year. I'm looking forward to 2025. New administration coming in, some things changing. It's going to be a big year in 2025. You ought to check it out. Just have a conversation. It's like my dad always says, it doesn't hurt to have a conversation. You can always say no. But what if you say yes? What if it's one of the best moves you've ever made for a passive income? Arch Public, my buddy Tillman Holloway, he was there this weekend with some of the guys I was telling you guys that I was with. Had a great chance to talk to him, and they're really excited about what they're doing, the different products that they offer, whether you're wanting to trade the gap strategy or the swing strategy, or you're looking to purchase Bitcoin. Bitcoin's a big deal right now. Maybe you don't know a whole lot about it, but you're wanting to get into it and add it to your portfolio. They have an algorithm that can do that in a strategic fashion. Arch Public and those guys do a great job. Scan that QR code, shoot me a DM. I'm happy to help you out. Have a conversation, see if it's right for you. We don't tell you what to do with your money. All we can do is tell you should have the conversation.
All righty. I think we had a super chat here that we didn't get to. There we go. $4.99 from ATX Bates. O-line, the whole did not outperform the sum of the parts. For running backs, I don't think we realized the talent drop-off between Baxter and Brooks to Blue and Wisner. I don't know, Bates. I think maybe some fans did realize it as it was happening. I think there was a certain understanding of maybe what was going on there. But I get your point. I wish.
I also think Blue and Wisner both had some banger.
They did. I mean, Wisner had 1,000 yards, right? We're not going to act like it was totally useless. And if Blue could have just, if either Blue could have not had the fumbling period, or if his coach would have maybe tried to get him back on that horse a little quicker, maybe it's a little different. I wanted to see Blue in on the goal line stuff, guys. Like he's literally accounted for all your points at that moment. You don't want the guy that's accounted for every point you've scored. This almost goes back to the Reggie Bush discussion from the 05 thing. Do you have to hand it to him? Not necessarily, but what if he was out there?
No.
Like, he's the one guy that scored on them and he wasn't on the field, and you put the freshman in instead, and then you run Wisner wide. I didn't get it. I thought Jaden Blue, with the opportunity of, I don't know, Bo, little wheel route, because you'd killed him with it anyway. Like, at least make them think there could be multiple ideas coming.
Sark will be ruminating on how he screwed up that entire possession once it got inside the 10-yard line for the rest of his life. Like, that's one that, because they're going to watch this Ohio State Notre Dame game, and we all know, or at least I think we all know what's about to happen on Monday night, and Ohio State's going to kick the crap out of them. I'm not saying it's going to be Michigan, it's not going to be TCU, Georgia kick the crap out of them, but it's going to be bad. And everybody on Texas's team is going to have to relive the fact that if they could have gotten that and went to overtime, they'd be the ones hoisting the trophy. Now, all that being said, the game wasn't lost at that moment, from a sense that even if we would have scored, didn't mean we won the game. We were about to give them the ball back with 2 minutes left after they'd just gone 87 yards in 7 minutes to score the touchdown before. It was no guarantee that scoring there wins the game. But I think Sark did a disservice to the team and himself with the play calls that he made in that scenario. From the personnel groupings to what he had them do. Like I said, if Blue wouldn't have fumbled throughout the year, he'd have been on the field. I mean, at the end of the day, like, sometimes there are ramifications to your action. Sark did not have faith. And you know what? How bad would Sark have been hearing it from everybody if Jaden Blue had fumbled in that exact moment when they're like, he likes to fumble, unfortunately. How do you have him in that?
I mean,
how do you not have a sure?
To me, that's a defeatist way to look at it. He had scored every point in the game.
Have you met the Longhorn fan base?
I understand that part, but like, look, if he ends up fumbling a ball, then obviously, sure, they'll be eye rolling and, well, you knew he was going to. Okay. Well, if that's true, then don't start him. Don't play him. Let him stand and watch the game like we all did. You trusted him enough to put him in situations where he scored 2 touchdowns. And then when it mattered the most, you just let him watch. That's what I didn't understand.
I wonder if they'd have went to Sark on the pass interference, and this is just me being stupid, I guess, but instead of getting it 1st and goal at the 1, Sark, you want it 1st and goal at the 7? Like, do you want to have a little more space there?
Right. Can I back it up? Will you let me pick my hash if I can back it up to like the 7?
Sark's like, no, I don't want it 1st and goal at the 1. I want it 1st and goal from the 11-yard line. I want a 12-yard pass lane.
We got a super chat from Tracy. Tracy, we will get right to that after Bo tells you a little bit about Gold and Griff. Bo, let them know what's going on.
Well, it's a new year. It's time. The renovation projects at your house are about to begin. It happens every single year when, you start throwing out the old stuff and realize you want to, deviate some things in your house. You want to have the walls repainted. You want new cabinetry. You want the TV hung in a different spot. You want a deck. Whatever it is, Golden Griff is your answer. Phone number, 512-733-9789. That's 512-733-9789. You get a professional contractor that will be there the entire time. Yes, he will hire the subs, but he will be there to manage the subs. And that's what you want from your contractor. You don't want the guy that just takes your check and then just sends random guys to your house and then checks back at the end. Nope. Billy and his crew have already helped a couple of the Outsiders listeners. They've sent in glowing reviews. Scan the QR code. Give them a shout. Any project you need done around your house, Golden Griff.
All right. Thanks, Golden Griff. Thanks to our other great partners. Thanks to all of you in the chat. And as I said, Tracy shot us a quick little super chat here. $4.99. What's your letter grade for Sark over his 4 years? Oh, Tracy. It's a good question. I like that. 4 years in. Chance Mock, you want to start this one? Letter grade for Sark?
I give him an A-.
A-. Okay.
I give him an A-. He took this team and in 4 years We've gone from the depths of despair to back-to-back college football semifinal appearances to the 2025 way too early betting odds, having us as the odds-on favorite to win the national championship this upcoming season. I think the team that he's surrounded, look, he's had a couple bad calls. There's been bad moments, okay? That's part of it. But what he's been able to do, the culture that he's been able to create in that locker room and the excitement around this football team, recruits want to be here, the players want to be here. I think what he's done has been phenomenal.
Bo, would you agree?
I'd take the minus off. I just give him a
Okay.
straight up A. I mean, what he inherited, what the job required, both on and off the field, while navigating some pretty crazy ass times with COVID, all the other things going on with social injustice, NIL, like going through that entire thing, keeping his team together, bringing in talent, navigating the Arch Quinn, whatever you want to call it, with the fan base and everything else. I give him an A. The only reason he doesn't get a plus is you got to have a trophy to get a plus. But for what he inherited, I give him an A.
Jason?
100%.
I will give you the plus, Sark. A plus. All right. They're the only team to go to the Final Four 2 years in a row. All right. The three teams who were in the Final Four a year ago, they were not there this year. The national champion, Michigan, lost like 6 games, right? Like it's a pretty incredible thing that he's done in, has it only been 4 years? Is that what you're telling me? Just 4 years? Mac Brown, I heard him say 2 weeks ago that Texas has bought a house in the national championship neighborhood. And when you have a house like that, you're going to win one. It might take some time, but eventually you live there, you are going to win one. So I'm going to give him an A plus and an incomplete. Sark, you can still up it to an A plus plus. Right?
Good grief. Wow. Look at you. You
There
got
you
like
go.
extra stickers and stuff you could give.
Yeah,
and
that's
all
right.
that.
That's right.
Tracy, thank you for the $4.99. I think an A minus. I think Chance said is probably where I would go, kind of in that area. I mean, 2 straight trips to the Final Four is a big deal. And to get to the Final Four, last year's one version. This year is the first real version of it, where you're having to work your way to that Final Four and live up to your seeding, which they absolutely did. And you're right there. You started a game where part of the national discussion was, oh my God, can you even stay with this team? Have you seen Ohio State play? And you played them right up to that moment. You played them up to a 1st and goal situation. You're down 7. You had a chance to make it 21-all so we could all watch 4 minutes of football. Now, you didn't do it, which is why I would probably lean more towards an A minus, or if you want to really be tough, like a B plus. But I think that's fair. I think that area, that high B, low A, I think that's perfectly fair.
It's kind of ironic that this Texas team that throughout the year on defense made stop after stop after stop on 4th and short. Numerous games, the critical moments early in games or in the A&M game, later in the game, 4th and 1, 4th and 2, 4th and 3. Every single time Texas came up and stopped them. To the extent that it made us jaded as a fan base, I think, to understand the other team can stop you sometimes. Now, in this particular case, it was more Sark's play calling with the stupid toss backwards. But at the same token, sometimes the other team's just better. Jack Sawyer beat Cam Williams.
Well,
Period.
The other thing
that's
is,
the game.
And this is what we're going to have to watch, fellas, because it's all those little small margin stuff. Sark started out at Texas, not great in 1-score games. He's improved on that. And then there have been games where they went head up with Bama and Tuscaloosa, and they went to Ann Arbor. And we've talked about those games where they got physical late and they won some big games. But now it's going to be those little moments, like figuring out that red zone moment. And then, Chance, back to this play at the end of the half, because I'm with you. It was disgraceful football. So to me, it's bad enough when if you get beat, out schemed, whatever it is. He was asked in the post game by Anwar of Orange Blood about the blitz. He then says it wasn't a blitz. It was what was the word? A simulated blitz. So like, okay, wait a second. A blitz would have seemed stupid. You're saying it wasn't actually a blitz. And in the end, he's right in that they rushed 4. That means there's 7 guys back. Fellas, 5 of those 7 guys were Hill, Simmons, Barron, Taff, and who am I missing? And Makuba. And none of those 5 guys touched Travion Henderson for 75 yards. Chance, I don't know football like 1,000th of what you do. Please explain to me how that happens in that moment.
I'm going to go to the Roy Williams answer on this one because I don't have an answer. I didn't play on that side of the ball. It's baffling to me. It's absolutely mind-boggling. You've got one job right now, and I don't understand how Henderson was able to sneak out of the backfield and be by himself. There wasn't anybody within 25 yards of him when he caught the ball. Like,
Right.
The offensive line, it was a caravan. Like, I don't even think that was a hey, let's see if we can pick up a couple yards here, maybe get a little closer. Let's just see. And it was like, oh shit, you're gonna give it to us?
Yeah.
Like,
how many times have y'all seen that kind of play in every football? I mean, so many football games, right? No, but I'm saying that the idea of either a screen or a draw.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't think when I was watching it, there was no thought in my mind that it was anything other than A, a draw, or B, a screen of some sort. Like, that's what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Everybody in the stadium knew that. Some of the women drinking Chardonnay knew that.
It was just, I get everybody. If in a game, this is a perfect example of it, fellas. When you have a game where there's a bad defensive play and a bad offensive play, people love to pick apart that offensive play because that's how we're designed as football fans. But I'm with Chance. I'm definitely with Jeff Ketchum. Of the two, the more inexcusable moment is that play. The play that makes it 14-7 to me was so bad. Did you see Saban at the half? Did y'all see Saban react to it?
Well, here's the problem. This is the problem. There was a tale of 2 locker rooms that were about to happen at halftime. You had one locker room that was going to go in there and go, holy shit, guys, we took their best punch. We played like dog shit. They said we couldn't hang, and we're about to go out there and whoop their ass in the second half. While the other locker room's going, oh my God, like, what's going on? You start getting infighting. You start getting nervous. People start getting tight. They're going, what's happening? Mm-hmm. And instead of that being able to happen, Ohio State goes in that locker room high-fiving. Can you believe they let us get away with that? And Texas goes in and go, how did we – it changed the entire dynamic. That's why I say the game was lost on that play, in my opinion. That's where the whole game turned right there.
Yeah, I'm with you. It was so bizarre. Plus, Ohio State gets the ball to start the third quarter. There was a threat. The threat of 21-7 was there. Didn't happen, but the threat was there instead of having it be 7-7 with them getting the ball. Let's see. We got the letter grade for Sark. I don't see any other super chats right now.
I want to talk about something. I've seen it a couple of times in our chat, and I've heard people talking about the last couple of days. What salary Sark or anybody on his staff makes is 100% irrelevant to you as fans. Like, I hate when they're like, how does he get paid $10 million and do this? It's not your $10 million. He's not your employee. Get over it. Like, I hate that rationale. They all make $10 million. Ryan Day makes $10 million. Marcus Freeman, well, he may make $7 million, but he's going to be making $10 million after this year. You know, Josh Heupel for Tennessee makes $9 million. If you have an elite program, you're going to have a coach that makes real money. You're going to have players on this roster next year. They're going to make $1 million. What they get paid has no bearing because you're not the one stroking the check. So that I don't like that. He makes $1 million. He should do what I say. No, you're not paying the $1 million. Shut the bleep up and just
when
enjoy
you are
the show.
Paying for the top of the top level talent, I would say that, yes, it increases the expectations to a certain degree, but there are 30 guys who make killer money who are not winning the national championship this year. Some of them didn't make the playoff. Some of them aren't going to a bowl. Not that there's bowls anymore. But so, yeah, getting to the Final Four and having a chance with 2 minutes left, I don't think is a disappointing performance. And we used to be like, Sark, give us back the $10 million.
No, that's my point. Like, you can get on somebody for making an error. What they got paid to do the job is irrelevant to the conversation unless you were literally giving money out of your bank account to them. If not,
Yeah.
just because you made a $20 donation to the Texas One Fund doesn't mean you get like leading with the salary. When people do that, they're already telling me that they're just not looking at it properly because they're already bogged down in their mind. It's like when people lose a bet on the game. And Jason, you know this. You know these guys. I was one of these guys. You bet on your favorite team, they blow it, and then you're pissed at them for other reasons because you lost $100, or in some cases more than $100. Your sunk cost into the bet does not give you the ultimate right to
How about
dog
the
on
people on
everybody.
Prize Picks that had Saquon at any time touchdown yesterday?
He's the worst, man. I get it that you're a good teammate. Score some goddamn touchdowns for the people. Right? I also want to point out to those chatters, Bo, that I am well outperforming my Orange Blood salary. All right, I am blowing it away, and I call in sick twice a month.
Well,
Not even. Not even close.
here's another bone I got to pick with Prize Picks. They voided the Burt Auburn.
Oh,
You know, what is
no.
that? He wasn't hurt.
He didn't get injured. He just
That's
did
not-
not play.
That's not your fault, Bo, or anybody that played the Burt Auburn.
I know. I picked Burt Auburn under 6 points. He didn't get 6 points.
Yeah,
I don't care how
that's
he got
cheating.
in.
That's cheating.
It's
That doesn't
irrelevant.
seem fair.
That was
Hey,
so funny.
from a
Well, I had friends that had gone the other way that earlier in the week and put in their Prize Picks, and they were trying to like boost their Burt Auburn morale in their head, so they put Burt Auburn to make a field goal. And so they're like, "Oh no,
Yeah.
he's not going to play. I lose my Prize Pick."
Wow.
No, you voided too. Everybody wins.
Hey.
You know, it's Bernie
on
Sanders
the
sports betting.
broadcast, not at any point cutting to the sideline and finding sideshow benched kicker when Will Stone is out there kicking the extra point. Is that just basic human decency, or, in my opinion, bad journalism?
That's a
You
That's a
saying
point.
showing
I
Auburn?
don't
The fact that they
recall-
never, they mentioned that. I did
they
not see him
showed him.
on TV. Was he really?
Oh, they
Really?
100% showed him
I-
with his goofy ass hair.
I might still have him
100%.
blocked. I don't know how I missed that.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
they showed him
Okay.
because Herb Street made a comment about
Yes,
it.
yeah, that I missed. I missed seeing him too, Jason. I didn't see a lot of that. Plenty of shots of obviously Stone as he was
You
getting ready
know,
for it.
you know, the funny thing is, I'm still to this day, like, I'm sitting in the stands watching my son's high school, freshman football game, and my dad's talking, and I'm like, Dad, you don't know who's around. And it's funny because to this day, I'm still very conscious of what I say and like who I'm around when I say it because of the cameras that would catch you. And so, like, if Major threw an interception, the camera would pan right over to Chris, and I'd be talking to Chris, and like we may be talking about something else, and Chris smirks, and the next thing you know, it's like headline news. Chris is laughing because Major threw an interception, and I'm like, no. So you learn to be like just.
Yeah, Chance, I can see one of those in my head right now. I know exactly what you're talking about, and I can remember that exact scenario because then the next whole week on radio, it was every caller was, I can't believe he was laughing. I can't believe he was laughing. He threw an interception. And of course, I'm sure one of us brought up, well, he might not have been laughing. I don't care. You're not allowed to laugh. It's like, okay.
It's just sitting there not even playing like, hey, Chris, which one do you like better, the blonde or the brunette? Chris like,
Come on, right? You can't do that. Yeah, that's funny. All right, so Barb's 10 has one for you, dear Chance. $9.99 off topic. Chance first. Your take on Devin haven't played a college football game. Sanchez saying, quote, the best leave Texas. Didn't Jade win the Thorpe? Interesting. Yes, he did, by the way, Barbs. That is it. I had not seen that comment. So this would be Devin Sanchez, the badass cornerback from not Duncanville, North Shore, Galena Park, North Shore, maybe.
Yeah,
that's going to Ohio State. So this would have been a comment, I'm guessing, right after, after Ohio State won the game.
No, the best don't leave Texas. If the real Texas boys, if you're a real Texas boy, you stay and play in Texas. I'm not saying you have to go to the University of Texas. You might go to Texas A&M. I don't know, whatever you want to do, but you don't leave the state of Texas, the home of football, where football is king. You don't leave the state of Texas to go play football. So he can pound sand and take his ass up there to the cold. I don't give a damn.
Well, and I would say, hey, Mr. Sanchez, at present, while we may not have won the Natty, and we did just make our second consecutive Final Four, the best leave Texas to go to the NFL because half our damn roster appears wants to go play NFL football. I mean, I think the list that I made on my sheet today, it's going to be somewhere between 14 and 16 guys that are going to the draft from Texas that have a high likelihood of being drafted. Like, these aren't like Keelan Robinson, like, oh, surprise. No, these are guys that are all expecting to be drafted.
Now, there is also a list of guys that have worn that gray helmet that were from Texas that are really good players. But I might keep my mouth shut if I'm Sanchez. But when you're that good, they never keep their mouth shut. Thank you, Barb's10, for your $9.99. We appreciate it. Before we head towards the exit, gentlemen, let's get them a little last stand hats. We can show you some hats. They got a big selection. If you're a Longhorn fan and you are looking for your next hat, what about volleyball? You a volleyball fan? Look at this one over here on the right. Volleyball granddad, volleyball dad, volleyball granddad, volleyball dad. That's right, a little VBU. Same thing for the baseball hat here. Huh? Dad, grandpa. Dad, grandpa. We got rainbows, black rainbows, white rainbows, black rainbows, white rainbows. We got all that. By the way, earlier, ATX Bates says that Longhorn fans want to treat the portal like I treat the Last Stand Hats website. I don't know if that's fair. I don't know if that's fair at all. A little camo, non-camo. I'm in the woods. Now I'm out of the woods. Look at all this. Look at that. Oh, look at that one. See there? Nice contrast from black to white. That's beautiful right there. Look at all these cool hats. Last Stand Hats, the True Fans brand. And if for some reason, maybe you got like a cousin, a niece, a nephew. They went somewhere else. Look at all these schools. Huh? Look at them. Look at them. Look at that list. How about what's one we haven't looked at? I don't think we've ever looked at the minors on the show. Let's look at a minor hat. Huh? Well, there's no product. All right, we'll go back to TCU. See? There's some TCU. All right, there it is. Last Stand Hats, the True Fans brand. Unless you're looking for UTSA or unless you're looking for UTEP. Wow. I'm sorry, minors.
Yeah. Maybe a little too much freelancing on that one. Just a little bit.
I'm sorry. You got to stick to your prep. Stick to your prep. Don't go outside of your prep. Earlier, I thought, I'll just stay with the Texas hats. Then my stupid little brain got working. I'm so sorry. ATX Bates, you're right. Texas fans think of the portal like my brain thinks of the Last Stand hats.
And there's nothing in there.
Oh, my God.
Damn. Thank you, Chris Bennett. I worked very hard on that one. Hard on that one. That was a minor mistake. All right. Okay. I don't see any super chats that we haven't gotten to. Anybody else have any business before we get out of here? Jason is in Hawaii enjoying himself, shooting sub 100 rounds of golf. Everybody else trying to recover from what happened in Jerry World. Anybody else have a thought tonight?
Well, I was just going to point out, and I like to use sometimes my family as a reference to the fan base and myself. Everyone knows my little son, Razor, all 13-year-old, 7th grade, offensive lineman. He went to the game, and they lost. And I thought he was going to be a little ball of anger. The first thing he says to me the next morning after the game? Dad, I'm going to go build a snowman before we go home. I was like, and I actually came in and made a note on my sheet. I'm like, that's the attitude. Like, when the game is over, you can be mad for a little while, but then go build your snowman. Like, you know what? Find something else that makes you happy because it's just sports.
Yep.
Go have some fun. And sometimes it takes a 13-year-old to make you realize it. But go build your snowman.
Go build a snowman. Go find you a UTEP hat on Last Stand Hat.
That is a snowman, Chad. You
Right?
just
I
can't
mean, there it
tell.
is. It's incredible.
It's a snowman
Do
hat.
whatever you need to do. Okay, for some reason, Jason dropped back out. What just happened? Jason in Hawaii just went.
He's in Hawaii, and he's like, "There's no snow here."
Done.
So
Hang
F
on,
off,
hold on.
bro.
He jumped back. It held all that time too, and I think he's going to jump back in long enough to say goodbye. Jason,
Yeah.
I'm so you got okay. So what happened? The cord slipped out of the pineapple. What happened?
Yeah. This thing right here that I'm using to control the Wi-Fi, you got to keep that plugged in. All right.
Wow. Gotta keep it plugged in. Oh my.
Plug in your dongle, Jason.
There you go. All right. Keep your eyes peeled for those portal moves that may happen. Orangebloods.com, always ready for you with all of that. Wednesday will be the deadline if Texas players are going to be entering the portal. So keep an eye out for that. We'll have all the regular shows for you. Thanks for liking, subscribing, getting your notifications. And a reminder, this will be our last full week, if you will, for the Outsiders. We'll do a show on Wednesday night at 8:30. We'll make some picks. We'll pick maybe NFL games, chances Buffalo Bills still in the playoffs after 42 minutes of time of possession.
Hey, that's going to be so much fun this weekend.
Chance, can we get an agreement here? Like, I know this is a weird way to do it, but can we just get Josh and Lamar and all the voters to agree the winner gets the trophy? Like, can we just have an MVP battle? Whoever wins this division round game walks out with the MVP. Can we do it?
Yes, I would take that. I would gladly take that.
Dude, if you don't love that game, you might hate the NFL. Like, I get they may not be your teams, but
And they may have snow flurries coming down during the game.
dude, Derrick Henry in the snow, and Buffalo's got to deal with that. Josh Allen and that. Oh my God, that's just so good, so good. That is coming this weekend. So we'll make those picks on the NFL games. We'll have us a Wednesday show. See if Blake, the super producer, wants to show. But then next week we will start our off-season schedule where we'll just have the Wednesday show because we don't want to take your drinking shows away. So we'll do a What Are You Drinking Wednesday every week, but we won't do the Monday show starting next week since there's, not a game to review each week, sadly. But once the season cranks back up, we'll hopefully get that going again. Thanks to everybody for your chats and super chats. Over 1,000 of you in the Specs chat as we get ready to close it up. We appreciate you. Y'all have a good night. Looks like those LA Rams are definitely advancing. 13 minutes to go as I'm looking at it. 27-9. Good grief. They're going to advance in the playoffs. So they'll be a part of the picks on Wednesday night. Until Wednesday at 8:30, we are the Outsiders. We have 12 different color options on Last Stand hats of the Outsiders hat, which is 12 more than apparently UTEP has. I am sorry,
UTEP.
Miners, for revealing that this evening. We, the Outsiders, are legitimately